Well, everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Everybody, Cantonese Cat here. Surprise live stream. I didn't even know I was going to do that. I was looking at all these chart requests. I was thinking to myself, hey, why don't I just do a live stream? Because I was going to fulfill chart requests anyway, and I was just going to talk to myself. So I would just come on and I would just do it. Actually, let me see if there's a way for me to copy the link to see if I can share it with X here real quick, just to let those pores know that I'm live briefly. And yep, I'm live briefly to fulfill chart requests for members. Meow. Okay, so let me go ahead and post that on X. All right, did that. Coming back here, let's go through it. Got a lot of these kind of random chart requests here, and if you guys have any, I see how much time I have. Initially, I thought I was going to do a live stream tonight, actually, but Mrs. Cat said no. So I'm just gonna do what I can right now. There was quite a few requests. I got about like 16, 17 requests here. I'm going to knock them all out here. SRS, somebody wanted to apparently do an ultra short real estate here. So I'm looking at the monthly here. Now, this obviously is a shorting chart. It looks very much like a falling knife because it's supposed to be for growth assets, right? I would imagine real estate would grow over time. So what am I doing here with a short chart here? Well, am I going to look for a bottom here? That's one way to really try to look for a bottom. And I generally just do these over and over again. One is I look for any bullish divergence here on the monthly. I see bullish divergence. I think this thing's going to go higher. I guess real estate is going to go down. I don't know what this means, but that's one thing I look at. The other thing I look at is a Bollinger Band. If I look at a Bollinger Band, and this has actually got one of those that I do like, the set that I like, it kind of bounced from one side of low Bollinger Band to the other side of Bollinger Band. So it looks like it's looking like it might be wanting to bottom here. It's never any guarantee, right? Because obviously it can always have another like lower, just like it's built a big bullish divergence here, and next thing you know, it just made another like lower, right? So there's never any guarantee with these kinds of things, but it does make you wonder. It doesn't really have much capitulation volume though, but it does seem like the volume's kind of exhausted here on the downside. So I do wonder whether or not real estate is in trouble here. Whoever requested this, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I can't even do any Fibonacci levels here because like this is a short chart. So I'm just gonna let that be. Like as far as I'm concerned, I would not get into a play like this. But if I was getting into, this is probably as good as a spot if you want to get into to potentially play it. Not advice. I mean, it's just what it is. FTCI. Happy holidays to everybody. White Rabbit. Low gains. Yeah, Nicholas. Everybody. I've jot down FOSL here. While you're here, I'm gonna do yours, and then I'm gonna take a look at all the other whole list of stuff. Actually, before I do that, I'm just going to move on. This one is FTCI, FTC Solar, and I was requested this by somebody through comments, and I'm going to jump to FOSL. I guess that's FOSL, right? FTCL here, I'm going to basically, it's a falling knife kind of, but they have a big giant volume candle over here. And so far, I like the fact they have 2 monthly candles here inside this big giant green candle over here. Is not able to break through. I wonder it does have a little bit of like a rising 2, rising 3 kind of look to it, which means that you have a big giant green candle, huge volume. You have 2 months or 3 months where bears are supposed to do their thing, trying to reverse this big giant green candle over here. They're not able to. So next thing you know, you might end up having like a big giant green candle that can engulf all these bearish candles, and that could potentially put a bottom to this chart. I don't know. I'm going to use the same strategy to see whether or not I can really call the bottom. The answer is no, I cannot, because the low Bollinger Band is all the way down here. So there might be some further room to go, but I like this pattern. This is a very, very nice pattern to have. There's not really any capitulation volume, but there's a big giant buy volume over here, which gives me a little bit more confidence that, hey, maybe we're near the bottom, although this is still a falling knife by all means, right? The other thing I look at in terms of looking at something like this to see whether or not there's a chance for the bottom is look at any potential bullish divergence. On the monthly, I'm not really seeing any bullish divergence here. I'm going to look at it on the 2-week chart here, see if I see any bullish divergence. The answer is yes. That's the reason why you have the big giant green candle over here, because you have a lot of bullish divergence that's been building up for years now, all the way from here, like 2022, all the way down to 2024 here on the 2-week chart. Actually, no, I take that back. you have bullish divergence really just here for the last year. Before that, it's just been bearish, right? You have a little bit of bullish divergence over here that's already been played out with this move over here. It just kept going lower, right? This is a perfect example of why bullish divergence not always work out. But you have another bullish divergence that's been up here for an entire year. This might have been it. This could have been the bullish divergence that's playing out right here. Is forming a little bit of higher high and higher low. So who knows? Maybe there's a little bit of trend reversal here, but there's no guarantee because here it also seems like it's 205 for a higher high compared to here, but there's never any guarantee, right? Do I see enough for me to want to get into something like this? No, I do not. If you're asking me in terms of between this versus like another stock that I started buying, like Enphase, I think Enphase got a stronger case because it has a few things. One is the Bollinger Band has on the monthly here has been touched twice, and the lower Bollinger Band is not all the way down, right? Second is you have a pretty clear bullish divergence that's been building up for a whole year that's not really worked out yet. You have a tweezer bottom here, and another tweezer bottom here. It's a pretty good setup. You do have a negative sloping 20-month moving average that's currently down. It's probably going to get rejected, and you probably end up maybe forming hopefully another higher low here before further bullish continuation. But there are a few things here that makes me feel much better. You have capitulation volume over here, right? All of these things, FTCI, unfortunately, does not have. You know, not really any monthly bullish divergence that here that I can see. The Bollinger Band, low Bollinger is all the way down to the ground. There's not really any like capitulation volume per se, although this green volume is intriguing, right? So yeah, possible is bottom, but it's not as sure as I am with Enphase. That's why I'm going to say FOSL. FOSL. Yeah, I know people are like kind of getting a little bit more bullish on FOSL here recently. It's because of this big giant trend reversal. So you can just look at this and you can tell in terms of whether or not there's a potential to have some trend change here. The answer is I don't know. I'll tell you why that is. When it comes to a stock that just keeps falling like this, right? If this is still considered, as far as I'm concerned, on like the higher time frame, this is still considered to be a little bit more of a low high compared to here, right? You can argue that this is a higher high here compared to here, but overall, this is still a little bit of Merry Christmas right back to you. This is overall a little bit of a lower high over here compared to the overall scheme of things, right? Because you can look at a 2-month candle, you can see this is obvious like a lower high compared to that. Now, I like things when they reclaim the 20-month moving average. I like things when they reclaim the 20-month moving average from resistance to support. I don't like it when they're trying to reclaim it when it's still negatively sloped. Because whenever you have something that is like a support that's negatively sloping, it generally doesn't serve as very good support. Kind of like, you know, if you're getting on a slide, if you will, right? And you're just jumping on a slide, you can still potentially slide down a little bit more, right? And it can break down, right? But if it's becoming more flat, then you're not going to slide down. So I don't really necessarily like this look. There's huge volume, but the huge volume also can include a lot of selling volume over here too, right? This does look a little bit more tombstone-y looking. Is right smack get rejected right there at the upper Bollinger Band on the monthly. So I don't feel safe about entering here, to be honest with you. I'm not seeing enough signs. Like, again, the Bollinger Band has not really been touched. You know, if it touches low Bollinger Band on the monthly, generally I feel a little bit better on this than I would otherwise feel, right? But it just hasn't really touched the low Bollinger Band. So I'm a little bit like skeptical that this is a bottom. It could very well do something like this, you know, and just kind of, bleh, you know. So I would like to see a little bit more confirmation. I'd like to see the 20-month moving average being a little bit more flat. I would like to see the Bollinger Band continue to kind of contract here to tell us that, hey, really there is a really big chance for a trend change here. Because right now it's getting rejected up. Bollinger Band right now is probably going to have a hard time holding on to a negative sloping 20-month moving average here. So I remain a little bit skeptical. It doesn't mean that it's not bottoming, because you also look at the tank and it's also have flipped it from resistance here to support, and that hasn't really happened like ever until recently. Even up here it was resistance, right? But right now something has changed. It's really flipped the tank in here from resistance to support, right? And the volume is promising. So am I talking on both sides of my mouth? Yes. The usual indicators I use, I look for capitulation volume. I'm not really seeing it. I look for Bollinger Band, low Bollinger Band touch. I'm not really seeing it. I look for 20-month moving average flattening and reclaiming support, maybe, but it's not strong enough for me to want to get into. And I also look at any potential divergences here. which I am not really seeing any here on the monthly. So it doesn't make me feel strong to want to enter here at this point. I'm also going to do a Fibonacci sequence here, kind of take a look and see what I'm seeing here. Yeah, it's not really even hitting the 0.382. I don't know if I feel good enough about entering it. It's getting kind of rejected here at the 0.236, which got rejected over here last time, right? Very nice potential head and shoulder pattern here. It might very well end up re-challenging the 0.382 here to $3. It could break through and re-challenge that, but I just don't know if it's got enough juice to to push through, right? Because it's still got a lot of things are trying to work out here. So that's what I think about FOSL, including a Kijun up here, which you can also get rejected up here too. Not to say that it's not a good trade. I think it could potentially end up having short term, maybe a little bit more further upside here, but so far a lot of things are kind of still going against it. So I probably won't be in this. I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. This could be very well going all the way up to here, but I can see, like, you see what I'm saying? I think you going down here, you kind of going back up here, you have a wick above. I see a very, very similar pattern. You have a downward here. You could go all the way up to the 0.382 around this level, just like it did over here. And then it might end up getting rejected here, and then it just keeps going down. Or it can even wick up above and maybe even get to like the 0.5 fib up to like, $4.50, and it just kind of like withers away. I can totally see that too. I'm not convinced. Sorry, I could be wrong. If in 2026 if FOSL goes a lot higher, you can call me a fool. Okay. I am gonna do SLNH. Man, we're just getting right into business here. I guess I'll do JOBY next. You don't want to look at any miners right now. I don't mean either. All right, we are looking at Soluna Holdings. I think this is a Solana. I don't actually know what it is. Yeah, I looked at this before. Initially, I was hoping the Rising 3 would work out. It didn't work out. It ended up falling down underneath of that. This is why technical analysis is never 100%. I'm sorry if you're looking at the Rising 3. This is a classic Rising 3 pattern that did not work out because it broke down. If I'm looking through here on some of the indicators, I look at 20-month moving average curling down, continues to curl down, trying to flip it over, right, from resistance to support, but it's negative sloping. It just wasn't able to. So you end up breaking down underneath of it. It's unfortunate, but sometimes it happens. If you're looking at the monthly Shimoku, you can see the Tenkan, the blue line here continues to serve as resistance. So yeah, this is still a little bit of a bearish chart here. The global trend is going down. So ideally for a bottoming chart, I like to touch the global trend. It didn't really quite do that. Didn't really quite have it much like capitulation volume here. Although I do like this volume over here. So I think the momentum is slowing down. And I don't think I need to really argue that, because if I just look at the RSI, man, the RSI is really hard to look at. Okay. If I just look at the RSI, I already know that the bearish momentum is slowing down by just looking at it. And RSI confirms. You know how price has been kind of going down here for like a year and a half, but RSI has been kind of trending up, right? So like this is actually a sign that this is bottoming. I think this is like very much around the bottom. And if anything, I think this is getting closer to the bottom part around the bottom than anything. There's increased volume picking up here. There's decent volume there coming in. So I think that there's a good chance that it's close to the bottom, but I just don't have confirmation. If you want to get into it, I think now might be as good a time as any. I can't draw again because the low is like all the way here, so I'm not going to have any like good information to do again chart with. And I also don't think like a Fibonacci is going to be that helpful because yeah, it's just not going to be that helpful. Yeah, so I would say this. I think that this probably is the bottom. I don't have a guarantee for that, but this is, if you really want to enter, like I think this is probably as good an entry as any. There's no guarantee that this is going to be this is a Bitcoin miner. Okay, there's no guarantee that this is going to be the bottom, but I think it's pretty good, considering. So, all right, DK, I hope that's satisfied. That I'm gonna get that off my list here. Somebody mentioned JOBY aviation. All of y'all like love these aviation stocks because you like to see things flying to the moon. For something like this, right smack in the middle, there are a lot more things I can work with. First of all, I can just do a Fibonacci here. You can see how it got rejected perfectly here at 0.786. When it breaks above 0.786, things go a lot higher. It just wasn't ready yet. Came back down, back tested 0.336, held, broke through the 0.382, and it went all the way to the 0.618, got rejected there, come back down, back to 0.5. Right now it's just stuck between these two levels. So that's going to be a groundwork here. Now, if you're looking at this, the RSI's not going to tell you much. I'm going to get rid of that here. I'm going to pull up the Ichimoku. The Ichimoku tells you that, hey, it's been just going sideways, but right now it looks like we might be finding some support up here. It's getting close to being inside the immature Ichimoku cloud here on the monthly. If you look at the weekly, you can also see that it's been kind of pushing through the cloud. It's been trendless for a while, right? Rejection of the cloud, broke through the cloud, back test the cloud, fell underneath the cloud, rejection of the cloud, push below the cloud. Like, there's really not much to say here. I think it's just been really trendless. But right now, I think that if you're thinking liquidity is going to come in, and if this ends up being the higher low over here compared to here, and if you end up bouncing from here because you have the tanking cushion, you're still above the weekly cloud, you end up bouncing from here and make a higher high, it would have to break above 11.98 for me to really be more confident that this has a more of a higher time frame bull trend, because currently it doesn't really have a convincing trend yet. The one thing, though, is that if you do believe in the 20-month moving average, if you do believe in the power of the 20-month moving average, this whole downward sloping here is no longer taken into consideration. Over the last 20 months, it's been an uptrend, right? So in general, stocks like to think about the last 20 months in terms of what happened. Looks like it's thinking that it's more of an uptrend than anything. I like the fact that you're a lot more volume coming in, and it's simply just getting it rejected here up in Japan. And there's a 20-month moving average that's up sloping. I think that's going to be some pretty decent support here. I would say I would not buy it when it's like way outside the not way outside, but on top higher up in Japan when it's still a little bit trendless like this. I might buy if it comes back down closer to the 20-month moving average, but I might end up losing some opportunity to buy because you may not get there. You have support here around like 7.6. You have support down here around around 7. So 7.67, those are pretty decent support levels. So you might not end up necessarily going down to like the 6s here to enter. I do like this look, but it's a little bit trendless for me on a higher time frame. I'm probably gonna like end up staying away. All right, I had to see your FTM and ICP request earlier, so I'm gonna get to that. And while you're here, I'm gonna just go right into it. You're one of those meanies that are like, I asked to request one. You're like, but those two, I really care about those two. I care about nothing else but those two. I'm like, okay, that's fine. This is Phantom. This is the Gantt chart. I already had this drawn here a while back. Looks like I had an arrow there already. The setting I have is 720 and 0.5, I think. Yeah, 0.5. So I'm looking at, yeah, hey, it happens. It's fine. Yeah, so if you want to have a small percentage GOBY, I think it's fine. I just don't know what to make of it. I think it's turning bullish, but I just, yeah. Anyway, I had an arrow over here because I thought it was going to get rejected here, 0.786. Ended up getting rejected before that. So the question is, what was there before that got rejected? That maybe it's the linear 0.382. Sometimes it just doesn't really hit my log scale fibs here, but ended up getting rejected there. It came back down. Now it's falling underneath the 0.618 fib here, unfortunately. I was hoping that also like bounce here and just come back test the arc here, because the arc here was really good here, actually. Like this resistance here, perfect, right? The lower arc here is resistance here, perfect. And then push through the arc. I was thinking my back test the top of the arc and just kind of hold here sideways, hold the 0.618 and just go higher. But right now it's like no man's land, no cat's land. It just fell underneath back into the arc down here, and it's just like back underneath the 0.618. So I don't know, it might struggle here a little bit longer, but if the whole cryptocurrency market goes well, you'll probably end up pushing through 0.618 and just probably end up going higher. It's hard for me to say for sure in terms of when it happens. Again, the things that I thought would happen didn't happen, but that's okay because it is still a higher high compared to here. There's still a higher low compared to that. Nothing else really matters except for trend, right? If you're taking away the can here, if you just kind of look at some of the indicators, you can see how on a higher time frame, this is still clearly a bullish chart. It just had a hard time pushing above because the upper bullish band on the monthly is not that high, and you have the 20-month moving average kind of crawling up. It's still a bull trend. I'm not worry about this. It's just simply it's just not ready yet. You can also see why it got rejected here. Instead of the GAN arguing, you got rejected right smack at the bottom of this immature Ichimoku cloud at the leading span A, right? And guess what? You're stuck in a range because down here you have support here on a rising Tengen and a rising Kijun. And on top over here, you got rejected to the cloud. So you're just like bang bong, it's probably going to get stuck here between these two levels before you're able to break through the immature Ichimoku cloud and go higher. The top of the Ichimoku cloud is probably going to be a pretty important, significant resistance level here as well. Then you can see the top of Ichimoku cloud. I'm not making this up. Top of Ichimoku cloud is 0.786 FIP level, right? That's going to be a strong resistance. And the second resistance, that's why it didn't hit the 0.786 because it hit the immature bottom Ichimoku cloud over here. If it's able to break through with the help of this rising Tengen Kijun, then you break into the cloud, get rejected 0.786, bounce around here a little bit, and eventually push through, and that's when really bullish thing happens, right? But this is crypto; it could just end up going through like bing bong, that's also possible. I don't know. I like Phantom. I think Phantom's going to do well. ICP Internet Computer Things. You can go below 1.0 on price to bar ratio. You can. Yeah. I mean, I need to, like for Doge, I need to do it. With the great Matsby, he also does a lot of linear charts too. And for GAN, for lock-in, I do go lower. Yeah. I mean, like it's the same concept for Bitcoin. Sometimes I would go like 100,000, or like not 100,000, like 10,000, somewhere up there. So I do go lower. I think as long as the ratio fits the 1 to 5, somewhere around there, plus times or minus times or times or divides by the scale of tan. I'm comfortable with it because I still see really great market symmetry with it. So yeah, so I sometimes I do it 0.1, 0.2, 0.5. Yep, I do it. Yeah. There's no like hard and fast rule. I would not do 0.4 because it's not at the correct 1 to 5 that I generally like to do. So sorry, get back to ICP here. I think the whole thing here is still a little bit trendless. It's been trying to break above the Ichimoku cloud here. It just didn't have enough juice. But guess what? It's just been bouncing between 0.382 here and the 0.236 here. Almost perfectly, right? Found support. Right now it's trying to break back up, back into the cloud, but it's getting rejected here in the Kijun and Tengen, which is not bad. And a lot of crypto look like this, where it's still trying to have like big move up, big move down, and it's just been kind of building a base, maybe to kind of go up. A lot of crypto looks like this, so this doesn't really concern me that this is still not like a higher high. I think it's probably still building a lot of energy. You know why? Because a lot of crypto also looks like this too. They're finding support at a rising point support band at a very important FIP level. That's what a lot of crypto looks like. So I actually feel comfortable. I think ICP is going to do fine this cycle. It's still got a lot of ways to go in terms of like the key FIP levels that I think would be important to pay attention to. 0.382 would be the first one, around 21.4. The next one is going to be 0.618, which is around $74. It could very well end the cycle back up at the 0.786, which is $180. That could be a cycle top, right? I don't know if it necessarily has to break through like to all-time high to like 5,000. I just don't know whether or not it's going to do that. It could end up, the cycle could end up ending at like 0.6182, right? Don't think that it won't, right? The one thing I like about it, I think this is wave 1, this is wave 2, and wave 3 is going to be probably pretty powerful. It's probably going to take you to like 0.618 or 0.786, and then we'll see how far wave 5 takes you. The reason why I think that is because ICP like basically did almost close to like a 7 or 8x from its wave 1. In wave 3, I generally expect wave 3 to be a lot more powerful. So maybe some of the levels get hit here sometime around like mid 2025. I don't know. I'm just talking here. I actually don't know the answer to that, but that's ICP. Okay. Let's see here. I got a few more. I got a lot more actually of chart requests. I'm going to ask about NTLA Therapeutics, and a lot of these kind of like biotech stocks have been absolutely destroyed. To be completely honest with you, I just look at this. I don't see enough confirmation. I see two things are good, and that's it. And it's still not good enough because those two things doesn't necessarily confirm that this downtrend is over, just because it's happening parabolically to the downside. Ideally, for something that I think has bottom, if I want to try and catch a falling knife, I do like the two touches at the lower Bollinger Band, like touch one, touch two. I like this. Ideally, I like to see a stronger bounce than this, right? It's just getting up like there, you know. And the reason why that is because you really don't have any slowing down on any of the downward momentum here. There's no bullish divergence. The RSI just keeps on going down. So there's no guarantee that this is going to be the bottom, right? And it ended up not being because you end up making another lower low. So it's just simply because of two touches here, low Bollinger Band, and because of capitulation volume here, doesn't necessarily buy you enough confidence that this has bottomed. I don't know when it's going to bottom. I really don't. It's at a pretty important horizontal zone over here. Maybe that gives you some confidence, but I just don't see enough sign now because the Bollinger Band just keeps on extending down to downwards, and it's just made a lower low, and I don't see any bullish divergence for me to want to get into it. So I'm gonna end there. TEM. This thing hasn't been around for that long. I'm gonna have to use the weekly here, and even the weekly, I don't really have much information to go on. All I have on the weekly is that it's basically bouncing up a Bollinger Band here, and it came to lower Bollinger Band. It's finding support, it's forming a little bit of a tweezer. It's finding support down here. It's got big capitulation volume. It could be the bottom, but it doesn't have enough price history here. I think it's going to bounce minimally back over here to the mean at the 20-week moving average around 50. That's probably where I see it's going. But I just don't have enough information for me to really like tell you anything more than that. I can do like fib levels, but it's not going to help you that much, you know. Like I can do even from like the top here to the low here. It's at resistance, I guess. You know, it's just not going to help you that much. So, but that's my best guess. Unfortunately, it doesn't have price history for me to do too much more than that. ALGS. People ask me about these charts whenever they just kind of go parabolic here for weeks and weeks and weeks, and like, is it going to end? Are we hitting the top here? Are we hitting any major resistance? That's the major question. So you do a fib level, you're trying to answer a question. The answer is, yeah, you're getting closer and closer to the 0.382. You got rejected over here too, right? So you have declining volume here, yeah. So it's probably going to end up stalling up here. This time it's got so much volume. Doesn't mean that you have to go back all the way down to the bottom. Not necessarily. It just formed a higher high here compared to here. So it's a little bit more promising, right? The only question is, what about the 20-month moving average? Ooh, very nice. Good job, ALGS. Big volume, reclaiming the 20-month moving average from negative sloping resistance here to support, right? It could potentially come back down into like $20 range to back test that. It doesn't have to, but it's getting closer to 0.382. So I think it's gonna probably get rejected there. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We can go up to 0.618. Great, you know. Probably gonna get rejected there though. If you bought lower, I would say hold on to it because I don't know how low it's going to go, but understand that it could go as low as 20, right? It's a tough chart to say. It's also getting close to a Tenkan Kijun cross here. It's getting more and more bullish. I think it's probably a hold with understanding it's, you know, if you want to sell, it might be getting close to where you should sell. If you haven't already sold already, with anticipation of potentially buying it back down at 20, it doesn't have to, right? That's the tricky part of it. I don't know where it's going to find support. A lot of times, these kinds of charts are just really, really tough to make calls. Does it go down to the 0.236 like it did over here, find support over here, and come back down to $20, right? Maybe, right? Does it go down a little bit lower? I think by the time it ends up going down, the 20-month average is probably going to be right around 0.236. That's probably why I wouldn't buy here. I don't know if I would sell if I end up buying it down here at the single digits. Maybe I'll sell some. But yeah, it looks pretty decent here. So GME is the only stock that matters. Yeah. I did do SRS, Bob. I actually did it at the beginning of the show. I think it's like a short real estate kind of play. It actually doesn't look bad. I don't know how it actually looks pretty decent, actually. So maybe real estate's in trouble. I don't know. Yeah, no problem, Vasu. Like, happy to oblige. to do that. So somebody asked about RIT Inc. Let's look at RIT Inc. I thought RIT Inc. was bullish. I looked at this chart before. It keeps on having these buy green volume here, so it's pretty bullish. Already flipped to 20 from negative sloping to positive sloping from resistance here to support. There's really not much bearish to say about this. Looking at the monthly Ichimoku indicators here, you can see that it's been kind of going up in a little bit of a katana. So far, it's trying to use the Tenkan here as support. It's a pretty decent chart. You're gonna have you're gonna hit some resistance zones up here, close to the leading span A, which is the the bottom of the immature cloud. You can get up there, and you're probably gonna get rejected here somewhere around like the triple digits, around like 120s. You're probably gonna get rejecting up here. It doesn't mean that you can go lower, right? You have to also think about the potential lower risk, lower side, downside risk, right? 60, maybe the Kijun, maybe it comes back and back test the Kijun. If you're looking at the 20-month moving average, I don't think it's going to go all the way back down here to like the 30s. I think like 60 is probably more reasonable. If you look at it weekly, you can see that it tries to break above the 0.618, but it's like, kind of hovering underneath that here a little bit. Put out the Ichimoku cloud, yeah, it can go back down to like 60, right? Or even like the high 50s. I can see that being a possibility. That would be your downside risk. Your upside risk, if it doesn't end up doing that, if it just somehow has a little bit more volume, because it does have a little bit of trees at the bottom look to it. If somehow you have a little bit more volume kind of coming in, because this downtrend has no volume at all, then you can keep going down, no volume all the way down to like the 60 and 56, 55 range. But all it takes is just a little bit of volume. If you have a little bit of volume coming in, then you go into 0.786, right? Or you can end up going to 120 or 180 if you have a little bit of volume coming in. That's all. So yeah, downside risk, upside risk, you choose. I don't have much stake in it. I do like this higher high over here. I do like this volume here. This volume reminds me of this volume over here. When you have a big volume over here, you can go downsize. You can go down on low volume. It can go down a lot lower than you thought. But all it takes is a little bit of volume and everything would just get reversed. And that's exactly what happened. So it could keep going down low volume, back test the cloud down here. It's entirely possible, but it doesn't have to. All it takes is a little volume for it to kind of push up. So, yep, that's RIT. The other one, somebody asked about NVO. No, is that? Whew, okay. Is that one of the ones? Let me just double check on this. I don't want to do things that I'm not getting credit for, It's like doing a chart and like, no, that's a crypto, you dumb cat. I'm like, okay. Sorry, Yeah, NVO is one of the stock that was requested, so I'm gonna go right back to it. Do we get but yeah, XRP, sure, I add that on the list too. Why the heck not, right? I already just gone through another like 10 charts. I might as well go for another 20. I'm so bitter. All right. Let me push forward here because I do worry that I might run out of time at some point. NVO, change of character. It's been very, very bullish. It's not so bullish anymore. It actually broke down underneath the monthly Kijun. What happened last time when it went bullish like this for a long time, it broke underneath the monthly Kijun. The monthly Kijun is the red line, by the way. Last month it was trying to hold it. This month broke underneath of it on huge volume, right? Last time what happened when you broke down underneath the Kijun, right? Went to the bottom of the cloud, right? The time before that, when it broke underneath, hovered around the Kijun and the Tenkan here for a little bit. It didn't go down to the bottom of the cloud here, luckily, but it spent like 7 months doing nothing, right? What just happened? We broke underneath, right? So there are two paths I see. One is it hovers around here, trying to battle and try to get up again. Second path is come back all the way down to the cloud. Those are the two paths that I see. Would I buy here? Probably not. If I look at a couple of things to look at, that's the thing. Like it hasn't even touched the low Bollinger Band, right, on the monthly, so it still had room to go. It's not. I'm not seeing enough confirmation here. Like for a bottoming process, I generally like to see the monthly Bollinger Band here, maybe getting tagged here a little bit, kind of like last time when it came back. At least it like touched a little Bollinger Band, shot underneath of that, for a while. Here it came back to a little Bollinger Band here, hovered around a little Bollinger Band for like 7 months. It's not there yet. I'm not convinced. There's capitulation volume, but it can keep capitulating. I just don't know. So I'm seeing one thing that's positive, capitulation volume. But the second thing I usually like to look at is at least touch the lower Bollinger Band, not doing it. The third thing I like to look at is the third thing I look at is the RSI. And it's not going to have any bullish divergence because it's just a big downtrend, right? There's no bullish divergence here at all. You can say there's a little bit of hidden bullish divergence, but hidden bullish divergence can keep going all the way down a lot lower, right? I think I would say one thing I would warn against a chart like this. This reminds me of what SMCI is doing. There could be a bounce here. It's a horizontal level. There could be a bounce here. And it'd be like, Kat, you told me that this is a bearish chart. Price just went all the way from to 80s all the way to like 100 and 110, right? But why did you tell me that this is like, it has to go down to low Bollinger Band? It didn't do that. It just went up from here all the way up here. Like, it looks like trend's going to reverse. The trend's not reversing. You see a 20-minute moving average is going from positive sloping to flat, probably to negative sloping. Trend's not reversing. It might just be reversing back to the mean. I don't, yeah, like it's like the same thing I'm seeing with like SMCI. The low Bollinger Band all the way down to the bottom, by the way, for this. So I'm actually not sure. Maybe this keeps going up higher. I don't know. But like I basically was saying, hey, it broke down into the 20. I think it's going to backtest here. It's going to be an epic trade all the way from like the 20s to like the 40s, right? But then that's not the area that you should get bullish at, right? So just be a little bit more careful when it comes to something like this. It could very well find support here somewhere, bounce to retrace back to the mean. Doesn't mean that breakthrough, even not. PI, Magnum, I don't know. It's still a bull trend. I'm not seeing any warning signs yet in terms of that. You have support over here at the 20-minute moving average. Is still positive sloping. It doesn't always have to hold because over here it didn't really hold. Right? It broke down underneath of it. And it doesn't always have to hold. But still pretty positive. Oh, down here, whenever it broke down underneath the Tenkan Kijun and the 20-minute moving average, it went to the bottom of the cloud here, right? Here is finding support at the Kijun. I think it's a bull trend. Now, even if it's a bull trend, it could still form a higher low down here at the cloud. So it depends on if it supports here. This is one of those of like, okay, stop loss maybe. It depends on how bullish you are on something like this long term. If you are, I think it's okay to enter here because it could very well hold over here, right? If it doesn't hold, then it's going down to the cloud maybe. If it doesn't hold, then it might go there at least to the 20-month moving average here. So 125 and 80s to high 90s is going to be the downside risk, right? Now you're saying to me, like, why are you looking at the downside risk? It's higher highs and higher lows. No reason. I just like to I just like to be a jerk. I just like to talk about downside risk. I think it's still a bullish chart, and I think it's just basically back testing the horizontal zone over here. So most likely, I actually think that it's going to end up going up higher. But because this is one of those that I just don't know anything about, I just want to be a little bit cautious. It's finding support here at the Kijun, right? Sometimes you find support here at the Kijun and you just keep going up higher. I actually think because of the green cloud below, I actually think that this thing is probably going to keep going up higher over time, to be completely honest with you. I don't think it has to come back test the cloud. Especially if it's able to break about the 1.618, then that's going to go a lot higher over time. Do I think that it's bullish? I'm 70% bullish. I think this is going to go up most likely. I'm 30% bearish that it's going to come back and back test the cloud. Let's see, where am I looking at? Yep, I'm looking at the GAN here. Because I have a hard time deciding what it's going to do, I really want to see whether or not this is at any potential strong support. And the GAN might give me a little bit more clues. So I'm going to do like 720. And I'm going to always start with 1 here. And the answer to your question is this makes me feel more bullish, right? Because again, like I think like 130 or 120 is going to be a pretty strong support zone, but it's at the ARC support right here. So I actually feel pretty decent about this. It's got increased volume, but the increased volume is not going anywhere. So there's buy pressure that's happening around here. So I think it probably hold. I'm like 80% up, 20% down. So okay, cool. PI done. How likely do you feel this? Do I do a chance to look at NXL? Okay, I'll look at that next. How likely do we get grandfathered in when cat subscription fee goes to 100x? I don't know. Should I? I have no idea. I'm gonna get to crypto next. I'll also talk about XRP as well. Don't worry. But NXL, let me see what NXL is all about here. Man, you guess these are all like really weird charts that I've never seen before. All right, let's see here. This hasn't really been around for that long. I'm just gonna put it again on here. 180. Let's see, 180. And this is one example. Like I can't just use one. I guess I can, but it's not going to give me some good symmetry here. So I do want to use other factor like 0.5, 0.2, and 0.1. Do I find good market symmetry here? 0.1. I do actually, right? You do have an arc here. That's flipped from resistance here to support. After it came back test the arc here, back test the arc here. It does look like it wants to find support right there. So the other indicators, if I just delete the can here, the other indicators to look at, it broke through the weekly Ichimoku cloud, find support here above the cloud, find support here at the kitchen. It's a bullish chart. The selling volume here is not really that impressive. This backtest is absolutely necessary to cool things down. So so far so good. 20-week moving average pushing up, boring a support band, serving a support. It's going to go higher. I find this to be a very, very favorable chart. If I look at this high here, look at that low here, turn off the Bollinger Band, turn on the support band. Yeah, it's just kind of hovering around in space. 0.886 maybe. Yeah, find support right there in 0.686. Yeah, it's probably going to go higher. I think 5.8 is going to be the next stop. So yeah, that's it. Okay. How do I likely to feel that the cycle tops a Q1? Sorry. Yeah, how likely? I think I think not likely, to be honest with you, because a lot of people are saying that is likely. Even like Charting Guy, I love Charting Guy to death, but he keeps on saying like Q1, Q2. I'm looking. I'm like, I know like the moon phases and like the sun phases are important because he's really been showing a lot of really important like confluences with those kinds of things. But I just don't know. Like I see something more powerful building up. I just see it taking its time, kind of like IWM taking its time, wanting to kind of push up over time. So I just don't know whether or not it's going to be Q1. I think that it was Q1 that I would feel more urgency for whales to want to pump stocks up. I just haven't really had a chance to see that yet. So, all right, somebody requested here GLXY. What do I do here? Do I do a monthly? Yeah, maybe not. Did I just like put some random numbers on here? Like what the heck did I do? How come it looks so good? Okay, so I'm gonna do 180. I'm gonna do 180 and 1 here. Actually, I'm gonna do weekly here. I'm gonna do 720. And I'm gonna do 0.2. 0.2. Okay, there you go. All right. Resistance. That's pretty clear, right? I mean, this is hugging the angle up as hitting resistance here, here, here. Pretty clear. We're at resistance. Goodbye. No, not really. I think we're at the third time of touching this resistance. The question is whether or not we have enough juice, enough room to kind of push through it. Volume is saying maybe not yet, but there is increased volume over the last few weeks, so a little bit more promising, but maybe not quite yet because it's just it's been trying to find like push through resistance here for a few weeks now. It's just not been able to do that. Looking at a higher time frame here, you do have these like tweezer look here. It does make me feel like it's going to end up correcting down a little bit more before going up. And this thing has been, I think this is a Bitcoin miner, and it's been really outperforming a lot of miners. So I think at some point it's going to end up correcting, even if the other miners go up. But so far, I can't argue that it's bullish. Got about the cloud, you know. You might just consolidate that up here for a little bit longer. It might come back to the bottom of the cloud. Oh, sorry, top of the cloud here, around 23. Yeah, around 23.6. It can wait for a Tengen Kijun to catch up here, get back inside the cloud, and try to push through by using them as support to go up higher. It can go all the way down to the bottom of the cloud here around 17, 18 bucks to test this horizontal breakout zone over here. It can do all that. It's a bullish chart though. Like there's to me, there's very little doubt that it's bullish. Do I think I see any signs for exhaustion? Not really. I mean, I see the low bullish trend just starting to kind of go down. This thing's going to keep going up higher. It just needs to cool down maybe a little bit. But yeah, I find this to be a pretty favorable chart. Like, I think I don't care about the trees, or I'm going to hold it if I have it. I'm just going to let it do this thing. This thing could go down like 10, 20, 30% in a day, and go to like 20, and there'd be like on some news that like doesn't matter, and it's just back testing the horizontal zone. So in terms of how high I think this is going to go, let me shut down the can here. Yeah, I was trying to break about 0.7862. That's why I was having a hard time breaking through, you know. So I think it might end up just getting stuck here between the cloud and between 0.76. Try to figure out some stuff here before pushing through. Because once you break about 0.76, then the sky's the limit, right? And also there's also a risk for coming back down, back to the 0.618, which is the horizontal breakout zone out here, right? So that's kind of how I see these charts. Yeah, because you're able to break above, you're talking about like 80, 87 is achievable, even higher is achievable, but it's just way too far, way too fast, right? I just don't think it's going to end up pushing it here through here like the first try. I just don't think it's going to do that. So, all right. Those are all the stocks that I have. It's actually third top holder BTC. Amazing. Yeah, it's actually a really good chart. I looked at it before, and it's actually pretty good. Hi, Margin Call. Yeah, welcome. XRP for you. It's a look at how dirty this chart looks. I'm so sorry. I am dirty. I'm a dirty little cat. This scan here, 316.5. Okay, so 360.5. So I did this scan here on monthly, and I'm gonna make it not as busy by taking that fit level out. And my rationale is that this thing has followed great market symmetry here, with the arc here, arc down here. And you are trying to break through this arc for a very long time. You're able to finally break inside of it. And once it did that, it just didn't look back, went to a horizontal level here. And now you're hitting some resistance here that you did before, right? I think it's going to minimally hit the arc up here to around like $7 this cycle. Minimally. Before I wasn't so sure, but it really, like, I think this thing really convinced me. Do I think it's going to come back and back test that? No, I don't think it has to. Do I think that it's overextended right now? Yes, it is. Right. It's already outside the upper Bollinger Band, which is why it has a hard time. It wants to go up higher, just having a hard time because it's just way outside the upper Bollinger Band. Probably need to wait for January for the Bollinger Band to expand to even get above the horizontal line up here, because things just don't flow in space. But with that said, now that it's broken about the 0.786 here, it didn't last cycle. It got rejected here last cycle. That's why it didn't go make all-time high, because it got rejected at 0.76, right? This cycle broke about the 0.76. What happens next? Well, if we're really able to convincingly break about the 0.86, then there's no question that we're going up to here to this arc up here around $7. top arc right here, maybe $8. That could be where the cycle ends, or it can end at 13.26 or like 50s. I doubt it. Right, market cap's going to be insane if it gets up there. I think the cycle is probably going to end up here at the arc up here above, and maybe the horizontal line up here. Like 20 is probably going to be like max. 26 is a dream. 50s and 60s, I'm going to laugh. Like that. I don't think so. Right. But I made a circle here because I expect that this target is going to be hit. What happens after that? It depends on if Jamie Dimon is bullish on crypto and wants to use XRP for his yeah. Do I think this is a Bard's head? Like this whole monthly chart here is a Bard's head. It's going to go down to like 0. Tell the great Matsby that, margin call. I'm sure he would love to hear it. Oh man. All right. Going back to crypto, somebody requested something that is called VELO protocol. Specifically said not the velodrome, which I have no idea what the difference is. But I look at KuCoin, look at VELO USDT. This does look different from the velodrome. So I'm guessing that the one that I had was the right one with the KuCoin. So I'm gonna look at the KuCoin here. Monthly chart. Start with not again. Start with the fit levels. Yeah, broke through the 0.382 here pretty convincingly. After getting rejected here initially, we were able to break through. Higher high, higher low. Pretty nice so far, right? Let's throw in some other indicators on top. The monthly Ichimoku rising Tenkan Nikkei as support. Looks like it wants to go up higher. Would it end up going to 0.5? Would it end up going to the 0.618? Nobody knows the answer to that. It could end up pushing all the way to 0.618 at this part of the cycle if things get really bullish. I can see that happening. Right? Bull in Japan, a little bit overextended, but it's expanding the upper Bollinger Band on the way up. So I see potentially on the next few months minimally get to 0.5, but on the next by like Q2 either 0.5 or 0.618. So like 4.5 cents or like 11 cents, I can see that it being achieved over here by like by July of 2025. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about this. What else do I have? Somebody asked about Randar. Obviously, a lot of people are very much interested in this. The reason why is because it's gone up a lot, and that's also part of the reason why I'm also a little bit skeptical on this is because it's gone up a lot. It like from I guess the bear market, from 2022, the bottom was around like 28 cents. It's gone up from 20 cents to like $7. So you're talking about like in making a 2030x already. The market cap is 4 billion. I think that if this is like wave 1, this is wave 2, this is wave 3, this is like a big wave 4. I can see it hitting some of the higher targets. I can see it hitting 1.4 and 4. I can see that $36, and I can see it potentially be a little bit lower. Let me see. The fit level I draw here is a little bit weird. So let me see 1.272. And I want to do something here. Extend lines to the right, so I can draw this properly. Make sure I got the right levels here. And the same thing here. Make sure I got the right levels here. And I'm also going to add one more here, which is the 0.886. Yeah, because it's above the 0.86, I think it's going to go higher. The question is how high. Could it end up going in August 2025 to $22? Absolutely. Could it go up higher? Could it go up to 57 at the horizontal GAN level over here? Absolutely possible. But it's probably going to be somewhere around here. I just don't see it making another like 20, 30x anymore. Like close to 10x maybe. I can see that. Less than that, like 3, 4x, I can see that too, right? but I just don't really see like the crazy like 20x or 30x anymore. I could be wrong. Like it can go up a lot higher. I might need to redraw them again, you know. But I just see this being like a pretty confluent resistance zone up here. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. If you are looking at the well, the lower Bollinger Band is like all the way down. So you can see like the this is a bull trend is trying to get reaccelerated to the upside. If I'm wrong is when the lower Bollinger Band, if it starts going down again, that's when I'm wrong. You can go up a lot higher to like triple digits. It's possible, but I just don't know if it has the momentum to just keep doing that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I think it's bullish. I think it could make anywhere from like 3 to 4x to maybe like 8 to 10x. I wouldn't have any like crazy expectations, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Somebody asked about BNB. I'll look at Chainlink too, sure, because I'm nice. But after I drink some water. All right, I'm back. Yeah, this is kind of insane chart. It's done nothing. This is like basically what Bitcoin has been doing, I guess. You know, it's been kind of just doing sideways, and now it's just kind of starting to go up. I do wonder if I draw again if I'm going to see anything here. So give me give me 1 second here. Part of the difficulty doing a live stream is just to keep talking. My throat sometimes can't handle it. But I'm going to do 180 and 50. How does that sound? 180 and 50. What's going on here? Well, interesting. Very interesting. We're peeking our head above a horizontal level here. So yeah, minimally, I think it's going to hit the GAN arc here next. I don't really have a good like fit level per se. A lot of people have like a lot of FUD against Binance, and it turns out to be a nothing burger. You know, they thought that this is going to be just like FTX, and the coin's just gonna. This is a big giant distributive topic, could still be, but that so far is holding pretty good. You know, if it hits the arc up here in like December 2025, then it's going to be 1.618 is going to be $1,000 and 313 cents. The question is always, can it hit some of the higher targets? The answer is maybe. But it did have a pretty parabolic move on the way up here. So let me see. If I draw the GAN a little bit bigger, I shouldn't have erased that. I just draw it a little bit bigger. Instead of looking at 180, I'm going to do like 360. And on here, I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to pick like 100. Actually, no. What should I do? Do 500. Yeah, I think that would give me a better market symmetry here. Get rid of the fib over here. So if you ask me, yeah, I think it now it makes a lot more sense. You know, I think it's been hugging this arc over here, just like how it's been hugging this arc over here. I think it's probably gonna go up to an arc up here, this cycle. If you ask me whether or not there's any confluence here, maybe the 2.272, maybe somewhere around like August, you know, to the bottom of the arc up here. Possible. 5x, not bad. Can it go up higher, make it 10x to like the 2.618 up here, maybe, you know? Possible. I don't know. Yeah, it's crypto. We can do whatever it wants. So it's been going from arc to arc here in the past. So who's there to say it's not going to go up to the arc above, right? Ichimoku looks like it wants to keep going higher. Looks like it wants to keep pushing the Tengen wants to keep pushing price up higher. So no reason not to. Bollinger Band looks like it's re-expanding. No reason not to. Let's BNB. All right. Chainlink. Do I like Chainlink? You bet I do. I do have a bag of Chainlink. and my bag is not heavy, but I do have a bag, and I think I'd be happy if Chainlink does well. Do I think Chainlink would do well? Yes, I do think Chainlink would do well. What has Chainlink been doing? Well, it's been basically trying to break through this arc over here. You see how it had a hard time breaking through the arc here last cycle? You know how this wave one over here got rejected right off the arc over there? And what are we doing right now? We're pushing back into the arc, right? Initially had a little bit of a false breakout. But now, in addition to having a false breakout, we also came back and back tested bottom of the arc here perfectly, right? And we've just been hovering around the arc here for a little while. So what's going to happen next? I think we're going to go up higher. How much higher? Well, I mean, last time we did kind of get closer rejection here at 0.786. If we break through the arc here and the 0.786, I guess the next final boss is going to be the 0.86, which is $40. Breaking through the 30s and 40s could mean triple digits. Again, I'm just going to say it again. Breaking through the 30s and 40s could mean triple digits. How high? You see the numbers there. You pick when you want to take profits. Or if you think that the cycle is ending right here, if you think that this is bear market is coming, recession is coming, then it could get rejected here at 0.76 here again and take your profits there. I'm going to keep holding in anticipation that it goes to triple digits. I'm not going to say anything else about Chainlink. I'll get back to the Bitcoin dominance here a little bit. I do want to go through a couple more altcoins here, and then I'm going to go through Bitcoin dominance here, and I'm going to end the show. So I know you guys would miss me, but I end up somehow being able to do like an hour live stream. And how many tickers did I go through? I don't even remember. They say I'm a beast, and it's true because cats are beasts. La 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 la. When I look at a coin like this, PONKE, no idea what it is. I'm just gonna chart it because I like doing charts like this because I'm not biased because I have no idea what it is. Going to 180. I think 0.01 is a good place to start. Yeah, it doesn't really give me very good market symmetry. Let me do 0. Yep, a little bit better. I can see this being a support. These things are really hard to chart. Like it doesn't give me enough history. Like for example, I do a weekly here. It looks like it's rolling over, but things can roll over here and you just on the weekly and just keep pushing up higher. So I don't think it's a fair assessment. If you look at a monthly, I just don't have enough signal here. The tanking is just now starting to appear. So I'm gonna have to stick with the weekly here. Now, if the weekly, am I bullish? Where is that right now? Yes, I am. The reason why is because higher high, higher low, right? And compare it here and here. Right, higher high, higher low, bull trend. Is it at support? Yes, it is. It's at the immature bottom of the Ichimoku cloud here on the leading span A, forming a tweezer over here is probably bottom. It looks like it's probably want to go up higher. How much higher, you say? I don't know because I don't really have a good like fit level here to look at. I guess I can do like something like from the top here to like the initial, and I try to find like fit levels this way. I guess if you look at like this way, then it's hitting 0.786. If it's able to find support, it's probably go up higher. It's hard for me to say how much higher. I do think that it's gonna end up pushing about this all-time high here, and when it does, it could gravitate to maybe like $2 or $3. I can see that maybe higher. I can see that, but so far it's bullish. I think this is consolidating sideways over here, even though it does look a little bit exhausted here, but it could just be reaccumulation. Another thing I also find this to be more bullish is, I do see, you do have a little bit of a bearish divergence that's happening here. But on the other hand, you also have some, hidden bullish diversions that's playing out too, where price kind of going up here, RSI resetting all the way down to like 40s. It's actually not a bad thing. It was overheated here and it cooled down sideways for like half a year, and right now it's ready to go again as support. So, yeah, pretty decent. I don't think the cycle is over yet. That's what I'm saying. If the cycle is over, I'd be like, I warn you, like, no, this is going down. I don't care how low the RSI is; it's going down further. But because I don't think the cycle is over yet. I think it's gonna have some additional upsides here. One more here, ONDO. Yeah, Vivian. I don't know. I know this is one of your favorite is GLXY. The chart looks really good, so I don't know what else to say about that. This is ONDO, also looks very good. It's holding the tank in the kitchen here as support. Looks like it wants to go higher here on the weekly. Not much information on the monthly here. A lot of these coins are like that you guys request. I'm going to stick with the weekly chart here. Ichimoku looks good. 20-week moving average is coming up to, is a bull trend. It was way overextended. It needed to cool down. So it's getting back into the inside of Bollinger Band here. The question is always, are we overextended? It's always a tough question to answer because there's not enough history. Do I think that this is a little bit of rolling over? Look, maybe, but I also happen to think this is a higher high, this is a higher low, and I think that the cycle's not over. I think this is maybe reaccumulation. I think it's probably going a lot higher. That's my bias because of where we're at the cycle. I could be wrong, but I think that we're going to be okay here. With that taken into consideration, you can do a Gantt chart here, try to see if you can see any potential market symmetry. There's not a whole lot of price history here to be sure about this. So I'm just going to do like 180. And I'm going to do a standard number here. I guess I have to do like 0.1 here. Yeah, hitting some resistance, finding support here at the Gantt angle. It does look like it wants to go up higher to the next arc. So I think $4 and $12 somewhere up here might be the next targets. Does it hit that? I don't know. Not enough history for me to tell. I love these like head and shoulder continuation patterns though. It really throws a lot of charters off. You know why these continuation patterns happen? Because head and shoulder actually is a really like it sucks as a technical pattern. It sucks. I don't know how else to say it. Like it's okay if you want to use like head and shoulder to like scalp and things like that, but on a high time frame, there are so many like other indicators you look at, like why are you getting stuck just looking at like head and shoulder patterns. Anyway, somebody asked me about Doge. Stop calling me a hero. I'm just a cat. Okay, Doge USD. It did exactly what I thought it was going to do. I take that step back. I didn't think that it was going to get there, but if it gets there, it was a buying opportunity. I take that step back here. What I meant by that was you look at the last cycle, cycle top, cycle bottom. What happened here? Stuck between 0.618, stuck between 0.786, stuck here for a few weeks, right? Actually, I'm touching 0.86 and got rejected there and just stuck down here for a few weeks. And then we mooned, right? El mundo, yeah. Over here, what are we doing? Oh, too busy here to get rid of that. What happened here? Got above 0.786 here and got a little bit exhausted. Thought COVID hits, decided to go all the way down to 0.618 here. And I was buying it at 0.618. I was buying it here at 0.618. I was buying it down here at 0.618. Oh, look at that. How close did I get to 0.618? That was a pretty good area to buy, wouldn't you say? Anyway, do I think that things will end up bouncing from here? I think so. I think we're pretty much close to a pretty big reversal here. We basically, this wick over here is the same as this wick over here. Does that mean that we moon from here in January? Probably. When it moons, what do you mean by that? Well, what happened last time when it mooned? When it mooned it, is that a verb? What's the verb of moon? Like if something moons you? Mooned? Yeah, I guess so. What happened last time it breaks through? Well, when it just went straight, it stopped short at the 1.618. It was hovering around the 1.4. Before it got there, it got rejected here briefly at the 1.272. Right? Do I think the cycle has to do that powerful of a move? Not necessarily. I mean, the market cap's big. I don't know if it's gonna be that crazy bullish anymore. But I do think that $1.50 and $2 or even $4 are reasonable targets for this cycle. Anything above that would be a pipe dream. Just like last cycle, anything above that, it ended up hitting the 2.272, right? But that's a pipe dream. Things generally don't happen that way. So again, if this cycle ends up, and I don't think it's going to do the exact same thing, I think it's going to have diminishing return. But if it ends up hitting 2.272, DOGE goes to $23.25. Get out of here. Get out of here. Stop it. Stop it. You're being silly. Bitcoin dominance. I'm going to talk about this here. Yeah, I know, Vivian. You've been watching me talking about Doge for a while, and it looks like it's just formed higher high and higher low. It looks like it's probably going to end up manifesting what I've been talking about for like a year and a half, 2 years. Bitcoin dominance. What is it doing? It's just been going uptrend here on the channel, right? It looks like it broke below the channel. Like, you don't need anything fancy to look at this. It just looks like a channel up, right? And it just looks like it's just kind of broken underneath that channel, and it's just having a hard time trying to get it back up, right? You can only have so many orgasms. After a while, you have a hard time. I'm sorry, guys. It's getting late on the live stream. You're here. You're listening to me. I don't know why, but here you are. It's still relatively bullish. Hi, Jules. Yeah, you're just in time to hear me about this like nasty sexual innuendo that I do all the time. It back tested the weekly cloud over here and the horizontal zone over here. Like, nothing ever goes down in a straight line, right? Nothing ever goes down in a straight line. But if I turn off the Ichimoku, if I turn on the Bollinger Band, you can see that it also couldn't go down in a straight line. It was supported here at the lower Bollinger Band. Initially, I was hoping it would get rejected here at the 20-week moving average, but it ended up pushing above. That's okay. Back test the 20 right here. So far forming hopefully a lower high. If that is what it takes for altcoins to go up, maybe this is the start of a reversal pattern, because you really haven't had Bitcoin dominance touch the lower Bollinger Band here on the weekly since like November 2022. This is a character change. On a higher time frame, Bitcoin dominance still look bullish, but it's starting to look exhausted. If you're looking at the even the monthly RSI is still bullish. Like, there's nothing bad about it. But looking at the 2-week, it looks like it's just been flat. It's just been like having a hard time breaking out. It's getting tired, hit one last push, and you have like a little bit of evening star kind of look to it. And sure enough, it went back down, right? And this is also a very bullish candle, stab right there on a 2-week chart, right into the median over here on the Bollinger Band. But now you're having a little bit of exhaustion here, and I think it's playing out. Now, what does it mean at this part of the cycle when you have Bitcoin dominance going down? It means good things, right? What happened in December of 2020? You have Bitcoin dominance really shooting up to the sky here. You have one last hurrah, and we're having a very, very similar thing here. You have one last hurrah, if you will. A little bit of blow off top, a little bit of trees at the top here. Very similar over here. And that was kind of signaling at the end. It looked bullish. It was pounding the rising 20-week moving average. It looked like it was just going to keep going higher. But that was the last exhaustive top, because it's been having a hard time getting up for a long time. And then it was just like, you know what? I better get up while I have a chance. And it pounded up here. And then it have a trees at the top, completely exhausted. It just kind of went way down, right? The same thing's kind of happening here. You see RSI kind of trending down. And you're like, man, I don't know if I can get up anymore. Let's get up one more time. And it just pounded upwards, and it just kind of getting exhausted here. From December 2020 all the way to like April and May of 2021, when Bitcoin dominance was going down, what was Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin was going up. Altcoin was going up like even more, right? So this could be the start of altcoin season. I think that's what people are referring to. After all that sexual innuendos, just to carry it through that point across, that I can completely not use any sexual innuendos, and that point would totally carry across. But I chose to use it because you guys are here to listen to this crap. So, when would be a good entry point to FTCI? I don't know the answer to that because I'm not a financial advisor. I know it's annoying when people say that. I honestly, because of this like recent higher high and higher low, I think it's probably as good of an entry point as any. I just don't know if this is going to be like a very similar morphology like it was over here. That I just don't know, right? Because this reminds me of that, right? Anyway, I talked a little bit about this chart. I'm gonna go back to make some timestamps now, and I'm going to let you guys know that this is ready. Before I do that, let me refresh and make sure I don't have any additional requests while I was gone. Yes, I knew it. I had more requests. I had more requests. ACN. One last one, and then I'm gonna ride off to the sunset here. I already have a Fibonacci level here. It has a hard time breaking above the 0.786. And once it breaks above the 0.786, then it's going to go a lot higher to 4/500s. But it hasn't yet, right? The Tenkan is still serving as support. It does look a little bit more tired. I do wonder whether or not it's going to have to come back down, back to some stuff, build some more energy to push through higher. I'm seeing more and more increasing possibility of it wanting to do that. One thing that might want to do that is to keep on riding the support band down here below, where it keeps on trying to find support at. It might end up having to come back down to 0.618 before building up energy to push through the 0.786. It might have to do that. And it might have to do that while it breaks down the below support band and while the lower Bollinger Band ends up catching up here. It might have to wait for that to happen. Just because it's starting to look a little bit tired. Very, very similar thing like to here. Like it's starting to look a little bit tired, and then just a hunch, right? Not an absolute statement by any means, because this is still a bull trend. 20 above 50 above 100. It could very well just push through here and just keep going higher. I think it's a hold. As long as it's trying to push against the resistance level and the chart still looks bullish, I think it's still a hold, but just understanding the downside risk and understanding the upside risk. And I think that the downside risk is probably still pretty good compared to the upside risk. If you miss, that could potentially be pretty bad. So, and I'm saying that resistance too. I probably shouldn't say that, but it's a bullish chart. So I'm gonna just say it that way. I am done with y'all. I'm done. Do I have time later? Upside targets of PNA. Of course I'll do it for you. Of course I will. Is this yeah, let's see here. Yeah, pretty small market cap. This looks like another one that I have that I'm pretty sad about. This looked like Cortesi. Yeah, this looked just like Cortesi. I don't know. Do you believe that anatomically it's possible to have 3 slices of butt? Like it's a triple bottom? If I just throw in some indicators, you can see what's happening. It looks like it wants to go up because you already tested a lot of demand down here. And it looks like it wants to go up, but it's hitting resistance, right at the weekly Ichimoku cloud. And you also have a lot of resistance that's been building up. You wonder why it didn't moon from here. It's because the Tenkan and Kijun was like pushing, like the Kijun was like slamming the brick down, like, and trying to crash into the price over here. That's why it got getting rejected, right? You don't have that problem here anymore. You do have a negative sloping Tenkan and Kijun. But because you're not slamming from it like this, I think it probably would break through. It might take a little bit longer to do that because you're at resistance here on a weekly and you're at resistance here on a monthly. You're also on resistance here on the upper Bollinger Band. It does want to go up higher, right? Just like I said, because I think there's more room to go up higher now. Technically, it's allowed. Bollinger Band's expanding here. Why didn't it go up higher? Because the Bollinger Band wasn't expanding. You see, like how there's like all these technical reasons to why things are not doing what they want to do, right? Resistance, strong resistance, right? Strong resistance. Here, not so strong anymore because Bollinger Band's expanding here. Upside targets. I hate to draw it from the wick, but this is the previous all-time high, so I'm going to use that as the wick here. You see also more confluence, right? Got rejected right off, very close to 0.382. It's going to gravitate back up to 0.382, and then we'll see how it reacts there. I do think that it has enough juice to probably push to like the levels up here, like 0.618, 0.786. It could be a cycle ender at 0.786, around $2.34. And that could be like more than 10x from here. That could be a cycle ender. We'll see how much momentum it has, and we'll see how much time we have for a cycle to go up there, right? I can totally see it like wick up here and then just end up getting underneath the cloud over here, and that's going to be the end of the cycle. I can see that. 3. Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm sorry I'm not able to give you all a shout out. But I do want to thank you all for the great support. I hope I got to all of your requests, and thank you for joining. And thank you for being nice, because I'm definitely not right all the time. I definitely hate X and hate YouTubers that are just flowing with the wind on a lower time frame. On a higher time frame, I get, if it's a bull market or it's a bear market, you should lean bearish. I get that, but this is still a bull market, and I think a lot of people are more angry over their stuff not performing as well as other people's stuff rather than angry about their stuff crashing. And that's just not a healthy mentality to have, because a lot of things that have gone up a lot may not be what's going to go up a lot more moving forward. And a lot of things that is being suppressed may end up being the star later on. I already made some examples like SoFi. Man, like I get so much engagement talking about SoFi at the beginning of the year. So much engagement. Now the price is at $14. How much engagement do I get for talking about SoFi? Nothing. And the price looks like it still wants to keep going up higher. A lot of people missed the boat. But yeah, anyway, I'm not saying that miners are gonna like moon from here. I don't know that. I'm positioned for that, but yeah, I can't stand the bitterness and the justification from a delayed fundamentalist point of view. And the whole reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is because I actually get angry at what other people are saying, but I don't go to their accounts and comment on their posts and saying you're wrong this, you're wrong that. Like that doesn't, I try to be nice. I try to play nice. I try to show you what I see. Yeah, Merry Christmas to all, and I'll keep posting. Take care, guys. Bye.